Welcome to the Realtor Who Wines podcast. I'm Rashelle Newmyer, your hostess with the mostest, a student of life, a connector, a passionate wine enthusiast, and your local favorite guide. Join me as we explore the vibrant Pacific Northwest, savor the finest wines, and champion the spirit of entrepreneurship. Each episode, I'll sit down with inspiring guests, supporting business ownership, and uncovering the stories that make this community unique. So grab a glass of wine, settle in, and let's embark on a journey of discovery and connection together. Cheers! Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Realtor Who Wines podcast. I'm Rashelle Newmyer, your hostess with the mostest, and today I have Sam Parra with Parra Wine Co with me.
It's Wine Wednesday time, and this morning we're catching a flight to a tropical vacation and kicking back with our toes in the sand. At least that's what you can pretend you're doing with some creative wine cocktails.
Exactly. No international flight needed. We've got Sam Parra, the man behind Parra Wine Co, with us this morning to show us how. Good morning.
Good morning.
I love this. So before we get into our fun cocktails, tell us a little bit about Parra Wines.
Yeah, of course. Parra Wine Co. Parra is the last name. Last name origin is from northern Portugal, northwest Spain, parts of Chile. I have no lineage to those countries, but that is my last name.
And it means vine.
It means
right?
vine. The three ridges on the root.
I feel like you had to plan that, you know, to be a winemaker with the last name of vine. I mean, come on, how does that?
I'm very excited. I cannot wait for you to hear his story. It's super interesting. And by the way, his wine is amazing. Cheers to you, Sam.
Cheers to this beautiful sunny spring day.
Yes, it is a beautiful day in Oregon.
And cheers to Oregon Wine Month.
Yes. Cheers to Oregon Wine Month. Sam, do you mind just giving a brief introduction of who you are and maybe a brief introduction to the Wine Co. too?
Of course. Yeah, so I'm Sam Parra. I operate on a very small scale. I purchase all my grapes. I operate in a cooperative. Mm-hmm. And in the cooperative, the only thing allowed in there are my vessels. Oh. What holds my wine. My barrels, my stainless steel tanks, my steel drums. Once the wine is bottled, it has to leave the cooperative just like myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have no access to a tasting room. I will talk later about my pop-ups. Yeah. I do update my calendar quite a bit. Mm-hmm. But on my branded logo, this is my branded P logo. Parra in English, in Spanish is Parra, in parts of Chile, but more of the origin is in northern Portugal, northwest Spain. Parra means vine. The three ridges on the roots. I'm the third generation in the wine business.
Oh my gosh.
So storytelling on the branding.
Yeah.
Most of my grape contracts are here in the valley. I have not shied away from purchasing grapes in Washington, where my Cabernet Franc is from.
Sure.
And also grapes from southern Oregon, Rogue Valley.
Oh, yeah. I do like that you source your grapes from all over. So you said third generation. So will you talk a little bit about how you grew up in the business and then transitioned to being a part of the business?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, born and raised in St. Helena, California. Mm-hmm. Very small town, population of 5,000 population. Mm-hmm. All 105 of us in my graduating high school class. My grandparents came to work through work visas. Okay. It was a program started in during President Eisenhower during World War II. It lasted all the way through the 50s. That's when my grandparents, great aunts and uncles, the program was bracero. Mm-hmm. It was work visas integrated in some states with citizenship programs. Okay. And one of those states happens to be California. And my grandparents worked their entire careers in vineyard work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the next generation, I do have two uncles. They have two business partners in L.A. Their brand is Vinos Unidos. And then you have myself, the third generation, but along with other family members that are more on the administration and hospitality side in Napa. But I am the one doing this solo here in the beautiful state of Oregon.
Yeah. And you've received quite a few, I don't know if I want to say awards or recognition for sure. Will you talk a little bit about that, like how you've been recognized as a winemaker?
The accolades in general? Yeah, I feel one, that really stands out at the beginning of my brand. The website is winebusiness.com. The publication is a Wine Business Monthly magazine. They select 9 brands throughout the U.S. I was the fastest one to make it in 2 years of business to that hot brands list. That definitely, spread the word out for the wine industry in general as a whole.
Yeah.
For that article coming out, I received emails from wine regions ranging from Missouri to Michigan, where folks are checking in and asking if I offer an industry discount and, asking for the shipping rates.
Yeah.
But in general, after that, on a national level, it's been Wine Enthusiast, Forbes magazine.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And then regionally, Oregon Wine Press, but very consistent with Coin 6 Wine Wednesday, which the segment is out now.
Oh, it is? Great. We'll have to put a link in the video too. When people watch on YouTube, they can also link over to watch that on
Exactly.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So how you and I met actually is through social media. The power of social media. I love social media.
Right.
I had posted something about wine tasting. Sam had commented on it, and I was like, oh, it's Parra Wine Co. And so I started checking him out. And then COVID happened, and a lot of tasting rooms were closed. People, obviously, businesses were hurting. And a big passion of mine is helping small businesses and making sure mom and pop shops survive in general. And then especially during the tough time like COVID. I'm also a social butterfly, which is why I wanted to do the podcast, is talking to everybody. So I had this idea, like, once stores were open, but it was like everybody had to be spaced out and all this stuff. What if we did a shop small event in Aurora, Oregon, where all the stores are spread out, and I could invite clients and they could all shop and help the little stores there. And I reached out to Sam and I was like, would you like to have a wine table there and sell wine? And that was in 21.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was the winter of 2020, because I was just barely, because it was around Christmas time, because I was also trying to help those businesses. But anyways,
Yeah.
I've known you since, and I've loved your wine since, and I've just enjoyed watching your journey over the last few years too, and how it's grown and everything.
And with the support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to support you. And of course, when I thought of doing this podcast, you were one of the first people I was like, oh, I have to have Sam on, because you just have such a cool story. And then because you don't have a storefront, I just want to also give you a platform to talk about your wine with people. So talk to us a little bit about what you brought today, but then also some of the wines you don't have with you today too.
No, of course. So one would be Tempranillo. I've been sourcing this since 2019 from Zenith Vineyard, located in the Eola-Amity Hills AVA. They're out of West Salem. And then with the same varietal, the base of this wine was made. It's all stainless steel, an addition of cinnamon tea, and then hibiscus was in a mesh bag. And anytime you're adding anything to a wine, you submit a wine formula. So I'm very proud to say I'm the first domestic Latino wine brand to own a wine formula. This is Tomalo Frío, which means drink it cold. We do have it on ice. I actually suggest also about 20-30% addition of bubbly water. But today, for this beautiful sunny May day, the ice is hitting the spot right now.
Yeah, it's super refreshing. And it tastes great without the sparkling water, but I bet with sparkling water, it'd be really good too.
And then folks see the bottle and they say, oh, great, you're making a sangria. And I right away, I say, no, sangria is leftover wine, usually cut up fruit, make it sweet.
Sure.
This is just more to really pay homage to a drink I truly love, of agua fresca, jamaica, that you find a lot at taquerias. The purpose of hibiscus to preserve how tart this is. It's flavors of rhubarb, pomegranate, where again, usually with sangria is going to the sweet side. And as you're tasting this, it's a dry tart wine.
Yeah, the girl is not very sweet enough, but it's not overly sweet. I don't really like very high sugary sweet wines.
Yeah.
This is delicious.
No, thank you.
What was your thought process behind this? Because somebody might see these two together and be like, oh, this is made by the same person. So you have this kind of wine and this kind of wine. What made you want to do this kind?
A more
breezy.
more of the inspiration of the agua fresca, jamaica, embracing culture. Also, you can see how light the bottle is. It's screw cap. The price point is a bit different, where that's in the mid 20 range, where this is $40 retail. One of my high-end premium wines with my P logo, where this, my latest placement of this wine, for example, is at Timberline Lodge.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Versus the Tomalo Frío can be more at places such as Latin fusion restaurants. There's actually a distillery in Portland. Shout out to New Deal Distillery, where on their menu list they actually called it Tomalo Fuerte, which means drink it hard.
Oh my gosh.
Because they come up with their own mixture of adding the Tomalo Frío on ice, but they added it with one of the spirits they make.
Cool.
They had the freedom to create as they wish. I'm just happy it's on the list for the guests that stop by again. New Deal Distillery. They're near the event space Raid on Salmon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's still kind of somewhat Southwest Portland.
Yeah.
So,
I'd say so.
yeah.
With that being said, on your website, is there a list of different restaurants or
There is.
places where people can buy your wine?
Yeah, definitely key on my website. Without having a tasting room, I always update where to find my wines.
Yeah.
You're going to see all the cities or even small towns in Oregon. All the accounts will be in alphabetical order of where to find the wines. It's not going to list what specific wine will be at these places, but that the wines are sold there in general. And
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, because you make small batches too, you also make different varieties at different times. So you
Right.
have certain things available.
It may only be a seasonal wine, correct? And also more important is my pop-up schedule on my website, just to find the place I'm at, the date and time. I always joke that I'm quite easy to assassinate. You can find me fairly easy.
So if you're looking for them, just go to the website.
Just go to the pop-up schedule and find me.
Yeah. I do like that you're out in the community a lot, and you, like, a lot of times it is Sam at the events pouring wine. I know that you sometimes partner with teams and you have people that pour for you too, because you can't be everywhere at once, but there's a good chance if you go to the website, you might see him, the man himself, at the pop-up too, which is great. I love that. What do you have coming up as far as wine? Like, what are you working on right now? Like, any certain variety, or are there certain grapes that you're wanting to source or something in the future?
One recent one is I reside in Dallas, Oregon, and a grower there, Jeff Havlin Vineyard, has Blaufränkisch. Very, very, very long word. It's an Austrian varietal, and Germany is Lemberger, but it's just a delicious, juicy wine. It's definitely satisfies the palate of a Gamay lover.
Oh, sure.
And also just being released as a bone-dry rosé of that varietal.
Oh, nice.
As well. So keep an eye out for that for my late spring, early summer. Now that the weather's turning, the rosé season is upon us now.
Rosé all day.
A rosé all day, which I have canned in the past as well.
Yeah.
That has been a great shift. The previous vintages, where I had to take a small amount of wine to get canned, and it gets force carbonated. That has been a blessing for the company to have new accounts such as taquerias, breweries. Big shout out to Occidental Brewery. They're in the Lombard neighborhood near the Lombard Bridge in Portland. Because at these places that sell very little wine, it's not beneficial for their company to have bottles open, especially a red wine on the counter that's going to oxidize within so many days. Where on the can, the beauty about the can is just one person or a couple or three folks they'll give them the glasses, they'll pop that can and enjoy the wine there, where they don't have to be worried about an open can in the counter, because there's no such thing, since they're selling the can directly in one purchase.
Yeah, well, and depending on the venue too, then they don't have to worry about corkage fees or anything like that.
Bingo.
Full transparency for me, I've actually taken your wine in the can camping. which has been amazing because it's not always easy to take a bottle of wine camping. Sometimes
Right.
you can. And I've also taken it to the beach. So it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So those
yeah.
two just from personal use.
You purchased the very first one. You had your
I had like a holiday.
your holiday market at Lake Oswego.
Yeah, a couple of years.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago.
Right. But yeah, like you were saying with our history, that was a beautiful site in the antique store. Yeah. What was your friends there?
Oh, well, Ten and Paisley was there, and then Three Daisies is right next door. Both of those are in
Okay.
Aurora, and actually Ten and Paisley will also be on the podcast later this month too. which is
Excellent.
pretty cool. Yeah.
They're the ones that are moving?
They've already moved. They moved from
Okay.
Aurora to Camby's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in.
Just, charming buildings. And thank you so much for the support. That was a great turnout, which I continued with that idea with professionals that I meet out in the community and saying, hey, if you ever do, open houses or private parties, kind of just more shift to be the wine vendor
Yeah.
for the event.
Yeah. No, I love that you offer to do that. One thing I also really think is savvy of you and I appreciate of you is because you don't have a storefront, right?
Yeah.
You will text me and say, hey, this wine is out now. Are you interested? I'll even drop the bottles off.
Right.
That is something cool. I love that you do that because I'm like, oh, yeah, bring me 6.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, I like to gift wine a lot too to my real estate clients. So,
Right.
and I like to gift obviously local wine when I can. So,
Yeah.
I think that's really smart, and it just also shows how connected you are with your clients too. Like
Right.
you already know if certain wine comes out, or he also knows I live in Newburgh, and so when he's at that restaurant in Newburgh, he'll text me in the morning and be like, "Hey, I don't know if you're gonna eat dinner tonight, but I'll be at Social Goods or
Right.
down the street, one of the taco shops, things like that." So, and if I'm free, I always up in, and if I'm not, then I miss you. But I appreciate too knowing when you're going to be around, especially in my neck of the woods, and I'm sure you do that for other clients as well.
No, I
which
think
is great.
for a small business owner, I think it's just more a matter of the comfort level or, how well you know a person where a big success of my company is the out-of-state shipping,
Sure.
private clients, but locally, whether it's through LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or email notification, or as you said, just even I know your number, just texting and
Yeah.
always being, consistent and planning. We're just with like ourselves having just really busy schedules in
Oh, for
general,
sure.
where you're planning so many far steps ahead of time. It seems like almost every single day.
I know, it's true. That's so true.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the co-op. For somebody that wouldn't know that, like if they were just totally a beginner and like ag or in the wine industry, can you talk a little bit about what you mean when you say you belong to a co-op?
Oh yeah, I
how
should
the
have.
facility works.
Of course, yeah. A co-op means it's a cooperative. Yeah, they own all the heavy machine in general, the sorting table, the press.
Yeah. So it's like a barn that you go to.
It's a commercial building.
Okay.
Yeah, and you basically have the contract. You don't necessarily have your own space, and all cooperatives operate very different. There, it's just more in contract by tonnage in general, and most of them will tell you just what minimums they have in general as well. I will say at the very first one that I began in McMinnville, I was very lucky to start with, such a small amount of tonnage where I feel the flexibility is back for the area, being that beer, wine, and spirits, the alcohol industry as a whole is in a really rough patch right now in general.
Yeah.
But basically in a cooperative, you have a contract by tonnage, or the larger cooperatives, like the prime example in Carlton, the Carlton Winemaker Studio. Those clients at the production level they're at, I'm sure they have their actual own section where they not only can they have actual barrels, but in the back of the barrels are the actual tanks that they use during harvest that they bring out, that they own individually. But again, where I'm at is just what holds my wine, the vessels itself. So I went from the start in McMinnville, then I went for 2020, 21, and 22, I was in Amity, but I was also producing at the now cooperative I'm in McMinnville in 2022 as well. And full production was 23 and 24 where I'm at now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just have like...
I keep moving.
Yeah. Well, so you purchase the grapes, or you have the grapes, and then they're delivered.
They're delivered to the cooperative.
You have so much time to make it wine and get it into the vessels.
Yeah.
And then once it's bottled,
Yep. The wine's fermented, then it's stored, whether I'm going to have it in steel or barrels.
Sure.
And then it sleeps away.
Okay.
In general.
And then where do you bottle it there too? Or
That's
is
the
that
beauty.
outside?
That's the beauty about where I'm at. Not the can wine. That is to a facility offsite. And then for forced carbonation for the full 750s, that is at a place called Castile in McMinnville that does forced carbonation on. The beauty about not worrying about the investment of traditional champenoise method is that with an investment of champagne method, you are not going to have any revenue of that specific wine coming back to you until 5 or 6 years down the road. Where with forced carbonation, you make the wine in the fall.
Yeah.
And you're bottling, and it's being forced carbonated by the beginning of February.
Oh, wow.
And a week later, you can be out selling the wine. The process is gentle. And again, you have something with bubbles. And again, it's not traditional champenoise method, but it's in the category of a sparkling wine.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How, when you got into winemaking, did you learn from your family, like your uncle, things like that? And then did you also get education outside of family, or is it all your educations from watching your uncles and other people?
Everything's been in winemaking journey in Napa and Sonoma with friends and family. Everything here hands-on is a business. You send off your wine samples to a lab. There's actually one here in Newburgh. I use the one in McMinnville in general, and you go off the numbers from that. So no, I did not. I'm not trained in a degree of enology for winemaking, but in general for winemaking, you have to know your numbers and what you're doing in the science part.
Yeah. Well, I'm a student of life too. Like I don't always have to go to like a school to learn something, but like obviously learning from your family and then watching and then trial and error is always one thing too. Do you ever do anything with your uncles in California? Like, do you guys ever do like a co-brand together or mix together or anything?
We've spoken about that. Really? More of the tribute wine in general. And it's just been a discussion for now, but I feel for down the road, if I plan to spend more time in California, that would be an option for down the road where, you know, the P logo are based on single vineyard wines. So maybe I don't have to just focus in Oregon and make some great single vineyard wines from different parts of California.
Do they have like a tasting room too, or are they like you where they do pop-ups and things like that?
They are extremely lucky where they have access to a place in Carneros, the very southern part of Napa, where it's like a pergola setup and a property where they have outdoor al fresco food events. That's geared more for the wine club, the incentive of joining their wine club. Years ago, they were in a cooperative in downtown Napa before the lease was up, and that was not renewed due to a new hotel that moved in that area of Napa. But that was about 2016, 2017. That's been a hot minute. And since then, they have now partners, longtime friend of ours that do really well in sales in Southern California. And I have a feeling that might benefit them with much more larger population, a place where the wine lovers can spend more means on higher price point wines. Like here in the Valley, it's really hard to get into the luxury market price point area. You know, you have to be tasting, it seems like in a cave or a really fancy big winery. Yeah, in general. So yeah, it's just a whole different market here in Oregon.
Yeah. Well, and it is a different, this is not to like say anything negative about California, but when you talk to people that go wine tasting, they're like intimidated to go wine tasting in California because they feel like it's a little bit more studious. Like you have to be able to speak to the notes and the undertones and all that. And they're like, I just want to drink wine. I feel like in Oregon, it's a little bit more laid back. But because of that, the luxury wines, people don't see the true difference because they're not as like well versed in wine to know like, oh, like this bottle is worth $60 and this is why it's a $60 wine.
Right.
Versus this is a $25 wine kind of thing. So I could see how that would be a challenge here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If someone came up to you and said, I really want to get into winemaking, what advice would you give me? Like, what is one thing that you would tell them, like off the cuff?
It's dive in and do the work. Internships at wineries.
Yeah, that's a great one.
You can apply here in Oregon, and then guess what? In the Southern Hemisphere, you can go work the harvest there in winter.
Oh, really?
In the late winter in the Southern Hemisphere. Go off to New Zealand or Australia or Chile or Argentina.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what's something cool about your business is that you've proven that you can make amazing wine and not have a storefront, not have like a winery per se that people visit, but like you make great wine and then you also get it out to the public really well. And so what kind of advice would you give to somebody that's like has that mindset of, oh, I have to have a storefront or I can't be in business?
Right. No, thank you so much. I feel myself having experience in distribution, it's definitely with the production side, it's a lot of Excel spreadsheets, like stay really organized and try to connect with folks that are in distribution and find the steps of what to do where you're first stopping into a business without even any open bottles at all. You just stop in, try to meet somebody briefly, get their business card and get the heck out of their brick and mortar and let them go back to work.
Yeah.
Basically, step one, stop in and say hello.
Yeah.
And then from there, email them and follow through either with a call or stop in person again.
Yeah.
If they don't respond, to set up an appointment, something where the email might have fell through or they're busy.
Sure.
It's just one step at a time. You follow through to make the appointment and you finally get your one chance to go there. And, you know, you better have your brand story ready yourself. Everything to be prepared for what they ask about the wine.
Yeah.
It would be nice for you to see what other brands they have there. Like, you know, if you have a certain price point and they're carrying much more of the mass-produced wine from the brands of Pacific Northwest, and you see certain price range in the $40 and above of very few bottles on the shelf, you just may want to pick other boutique, smaller wine shops in general.
Yeah.
But then also a lot of folks don't realize, you know, when folks have asked me, hey, can I buy your wine at Bi-Mart or Safeway? And I'm like, you don't get it. Like, those places just buy directly from a distributor.
Right.
Like, all small companies start out being self-distributed, or they're lucky enough to connect with a small distributing company, mainly out of Portland, where they're at. But it's all just steps and baby steps too for the sales part.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's really good advice. What other varieties, if someone went on your website right now, what wines are currently on your website that they could order to be shipped to them?
I will say this for the e-commerce side on my website, it's actually managed by Northwest Vines.
Oh, okay.
They're an internet company out of Eugene. So he does have my previous rosé. He has my current Gamay.
I love the Gamay.
My Cabernet Franc, but let's be frank about it.
Yes, I love that.
My previous white blend and my previous Chardonnay. All my new releases, just join my mail list online.
Perfect.
I customize the emails directly to everybody.
That's amazing.
Yeah, or to like first buyers in a way, you can say, like,
yeah,
certain groups of emails that I send out.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you being here. Before we sign off today, are there any cool events coming up that we could see you at or catch you at?
Definitely. The events happening through the nonprofit Family Building Blocks in Salem. Their own Cork Festival is coming quickly in the middle of May.
Okay.
It's a beautiful location of Bryn Mawr. Have you been there?
I have not.
Bryn Mawr Winery in West Salem. It is a ticketed event. A lot of great food. Wine producers. I've even seen some breweries there as well.
And it's a
But
fundraiser.
it's a fundraiser in general. So Friday is the walk around where food, and I'm there my third year in a row. I don't get to sell on site, but it's a great event to support
people.
And on Saturday is their actual gala where I donate wine for folks to enjoy, and all the wine that you're enjoying at the Saturday event. A whole gala, full on, multiple course dinner, live auction, but I'm only there on Friday. I will also be at, the Corvallis Wine Walk is really fun.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
I'll check that out.
And, one of the oldest wine shops in Eugene is Sundance Wine Cellars. They're off Hilliard, a very busy street with great stores in that area of Eugene. And coming near, booking a date is a great wine shop in Pacific City called PC Pour.
Oh, okay.
So again, talk about finding me everywhere from the coast, from Eugene to Portland. So again, those are the events that that I can think about that, they should definitely support. And but again, the Corvallis Wine Walk, just stop by and say hello.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing a little bit of your background and your history. And definitely thank you for sharing the wine. Yeah. I always appreciate it. So good to see you.
Likewise. Thank you for the invitation, this opportunity.
Yeah. Happy to have you.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next week.